Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week I have Mike from the awesome, I'm going to call it pop punk because let's just say what it is. Falls in that realm. I'm sure it'll fall on a playlist as pop punk, and it's on Faction Punk. You can find them there too, as of recently. But the name of the band is Gone Stereo. Just absolutely awesome, great music to be happy to. So I'm very excited to have Michael here with me today. How you doing, man?
I'm great, Shane. How are you? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no worries. And I apologize for genre labeling you, but I mean, I really don't know what else to call it unless you want to call it something else. Now's the time to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You know, we've been called that more than once. It works for me.
So why don't you give us a quick, summary of how Gone Stereo became to existence today to where you are right now from your last release, Bridges and Tunnels.
Yeah, man. So it was pretty serendipitous how Gone Stereo came together, really. So long story short, we're a Long Island based band. I actually grew up in Buffalo, and kind of made my way up and down the East Coast. Ended up here on lovely Long Island. I was actually, so my wife is a teacher. She works with another friend of hers who she's been working with for years, who's said in multiple occasions, "Hey, you and Mike and Chris should get together. They like the same music. I know they both play music." So we ended up at somebody's party. Chris and I started talking. We decided, hey, let's play a little music. I learned that Chris had been in many Long Island bands for many years. I too had played in bands in the Buffalo area and kind of different areas throughout the East Coast. We decided to get together, and the initial thought was, hey, let's play like a little acoustic together. Or whatever. In any case, less than a week later, Chris sends me a text. He's like, "Hey, this guy Matty recorded all this solo music in a studio over COVID, and he's looking to potentially do it live. And so he's looking for guys who want to play." I was given his name, and I thought of you first to play bass. What do you think? And he sent me these tracks. These tracks, they blew my mind. At this point in time, Matty, who's now our singer for Gone Stereo, he was recording to get through COVID. He recorded about 2 or 3 songs under the name Lupo Punk. And he decided that he wanted to expand it from a solo project and just do one show. So Matty already had a drummer lined up. They needed to find a bass player. Chris was playing guitar. So we decided to get together. We had a couple practices and we said, yeah, let's do a show. Played our first show. God, it was almost exactly 3 years ago. It was late January 2022 at VFW Hall in Massapequa, New York. And we went under the name Lupo Punk. We did the one gig. We decided, why don't we keep doing it? So, from there, we took the name Gone Stereo, and the rest is history.
As they say, the rest is history. So it's pretty serendipitous how things just start to work out and come together. Throughout all the other bands that you've played with, and you've had a career of playing in bands. When this all kind of came to fruition and kind of got put together the way it did, I mean, what was your feelings to have like that quick, like, hey, I'm just going to get together with a buddy, we're going to create some music, to now it's like, as I mentioned earlier, now you got a band out in Long Island in a short period of time, and songs playing on Faction Punk on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's like? I mean, how does that fucking feel? And were you ready for something like that?
It feels great. So a few of us, we're older dudes, let's be honest. Late 40s.
As am I. Yeah, as am I.
Okay. All right. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
So, kind of quote unquote real life happens. You become a grown up somewhere along the line. Allegedly, but both myself, Matty, our drummer at the time, Jay, we had taken kind of a hiatus. None of us, had really played with bands for probably 12, 13 years. So we all kind of had gaps where we sort of did adult shit in that gap. Chris, our rhythm guitar player, he had been active in bands pretty much the whole time, on and off, but it just so happened he was like kind of, I don't know, his band was on hold for whatever reason at the time. But I walked away from that thinking, wow, this is fucking cool. And then once we decided, like, playing a show again with these guys, I don't know, something clicked. And I think we all knew very quickly there's a little more to this, and maybe it's time to get back on the horse and pull together. And that's exactly what happened. So it's filled a gap that I didn't realize how badly was missing from my life until I got it back. And I don't know. It just, sometimes the universe just speaks, and it did there. And I kind of makes me feel whole again, to be honest, because I was floundering as a quote unquote adult, because I don't want to be one of those fucking things.
It's unfortunate, but we all have to at some point, but, and I mean, it's a common theme too, which I'm coming across lately is especially like going into something with no expectations and you're later on in life. So it's like, hey, I'm just going to do some of this stuff for fun. And then it just seems to work out. And, you know, a lot of times I attribute it to like, yeah, because you're not putting pressure on anything. You're like, I'm just for the love of music. Like from the first time you started playing music, it was because of the love of music.
Yeah.
And it like you get back to that. So it's, yeah, you're an adult, but like you still have those childlike tendencies of like, man, I just really love music and I want to create it, instead of putting the pressure as an adult to say this either has to work or it doesn't work and I need to figure out my life. So like that pressure's kind of gone. So it makes things a little simpler and easier. And, you know, sometimes it's a whole lot better when there's no pressure.
Yeah, it's therapy, step away from the regular hustle bustle and do that. We just kind of, you get to turn on that side of you that you kind of keep dormant during the 9 to 5, to put on the fake smile and earn your money. You know what I mean?
Now let's talk about your life personally when it comes to music, and let's start off in the very very young years. You know, the first time you heard music as a child. Like, did you grow up in a musical household where music was on, or do you remember the first time you heard music and it like kind of piqued your interest?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't say I grew up necessarily. Oh, that's not true. My parents, as I was growing up, we didn't have a ton of money. We had like one car, I think, as most people did probably in the 70s and 80s. But we, my mom would drive my dad to work when I was real little. And my dad had a 8-track player and kick-ass Camaro. So we listened to the Beatles a lot. So like some of the earliest music I remember hearing was the White Album by the Beatles and like Jim Croce. Um, so that really sort of stuck with me, as a young kid. Um, but also where I grew up too, there was a big like breakdancing culture, and so like I heard a lot of like hip hop and like old school rap. Wasn't called old school back then. It was just rap. But like so I had this kind of cool like I had a variety of different sort of musical influences. So like so I'd listen to like the Beatles, and then I'd go outside and I'd hear like these really cool like beats, and I'd hear like the Fat Boys or like Run DMC or
Yeah. I love how
UTFOs.
I in my head, I'm like, I just got to mention the word Fat Boys, and you said Fat Boys, like, because I don't, I think they get slept on so much in that era, but how influential they were
Dude.
is, I really do think when it comes to the rap game that they kind of get stepped on and overlooked for the impact they had on that time in music,
Absolutely.
especially Disorderlies. I mean, you know, come
My
on,
God, that
what a
was
great
what
movie.
a great movie. Yeah. So
Sorry to, to mess you up there,
no,
man.
not at all. Now I'm thinking about the Fat Boys. Um, so yeah, there was a variety of music, and then like every little kid back then, like Michael Jackson, Thriller, I had that. I like Prince, Purple Rain. My mom was part of like a tape club, so I just get like random different tapes. Like I remember for Christmas one year, I got the Jackson's Victory Tour. I got Police, Synchronicity, and what else did I get? Something. Oh, Lionel Richie. So it was a wide variety of music, and when
Was
I
Dancing
was,
on the Ceiling at that time, then, right? Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah.
that. It was absolutely that album. Um, and I started playing trumpet as a kid, so I really wanted to do music. So I played the trumpet
Wow,
for years, man, from like fifth grade to almost. Well, I quit my senior year in high school because I thought it was so cool, but.
this is a fucking crazy day. My first interview today was another person who started on trumpet, which is that's awkward, but that's awesome.
A lot of people have, a lot of bass players have, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's so.
So,
Go on, yeah. Sorry
yeah.
to stop you there.
So, no, not at all. As a kid too, as I got a little older from just being a tot, really got deep into skateboarding. So me and my buddies would, that was our passion. And I think what comes alongside skateboarding is exposure to punk and that sort of genre. So, I think the first as I sort of shifted more into like metal / punk / thrash music. I think DRI was one of the first tapes I had. Um, First song was 5 minute 5 year plan. Um, and then I got into like Sick of It All and Killing Time and Gorilla Biscuits and a lot of the influence that really sticks to me this day was that sort of stuff. We'd get our music from skate videos. So we learned about like Operation Ivy, who's still to this day my very favorite band in the whole entire world. Um, Dinosaur Jr. A lot of the music that we discovered came from skate videos. And from there on, I think I really embraced this genre of music, and it's sort of in my blood now. So when we create it, it's just there. And yeah, I think from there on, I kept the wide variety, but I would say punk and hardcore, melodic hardcore, um, ska. That's really just really grown in my DNA.
Yeah, and I think that it's, sitting here and may start sounding like two old men at some point, but yeah, growing up in like the 80s and like late 80s, early 90s, and you're getting those skate videos that you're trading with friends and the songs that are on there, and you're just like, what is this? It's things that you've never heard of before, and it kind of opens you up to like, it opened me up to so many different things. And then like I remember I found one of my favorite bands, like I'll say I have two bands that I'll always say it's one of these two and it depends on the day.
Yeah.
But like one of them was on a snowboarding video that kind of maybe should not have been there. But it was like, that's how I found music that no one else heard of because of those videos that were being passed around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the early way to share music. I was thinking about this the other day, and I have one friend of mine who grew up, as I would say pretty much my best friend. And he exposed me to so much music, and I always wonder, like, how does he find this? And if you think about how music spread, you'd have these kids who'd go hang out with other kids. So he was a big skater. He'd get in a car and go to another town and meet all these kids skating, and they'd bring a boombox with tapes and they'd listen to songs or whatever. And then he'd borrow the tape and he'd dub it, and then he'd bring it back to our hood. I would dub the tape. I'd have like a 6th-generation dub. I think the Operation Ivy tape I had was probably that exactly, about like the 6th copy of a copy. And that's how music spread back then, right? I mean, there was obviously like MTV or whatever, but the MTV didn't play that kind of music. So
No.
I think it's really remarkable how this genre started and spread so organically. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to sit back and think. Like I look back at the people that like were so influential in my life when it came to music, and I had this kid at a record store, and he would turn me on the stuff that I still listen to this day that people still don't know about. But it would always be like, how did you hear this fucking Norwegian band that no one still knows of, but they're fucking amazing? And like then you get an opportunity to put them out on your fucking little label here in the States. But I'm like, how did you find this German band? How did you like? And it was just like, this is the early 90s, late 80s. And it's like, how is this possible? And the music that still to this day, I still listen to it and think it's awesome. And it's like, I'll try to explain it to people and they'll be like, how did you find this? I'm like, found it from this guy. And I don't know how he fucking found it. And it's just so crazy.
It's so much easier now, right? You could just like, you could put that in your computer or whatever, and it would come back with 20 bands that fit that exact.
Yeah, but I also think it's so much easier to nowadays to miss music, right? To like, because there's so much stuff, man. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, for someone who, you're in a band, I have a podcast, own a record store and a music venue, and I'm dealing with music all the time. And it's like, I can't fucking keep up. And I try to keep up. Like, it's my job to keep up. And I'm like, I can't fucking do this. Like, at certain points, I'm just like, my head's going to explode. I'm trying to share music with people and they're like, oh, you should check out this. And then everyone's throwing stuff my way. And I'm like, how did I fucking miss some of this stuff? But it's like, I'm glad people are finding it. And hopefully there is more sharing going on. But at the same time, there's so many great bands, but there's also, as I said, there's also so much fucking chum in the water of just blood and guts that doesn't deserve to be there, and even the sharks don't want to eat it, but it messes up all the other stuff that's good in there that you're looking for.
That's very well said. Very well said. And they, what's the saying? A kid in a candy store. And I just think of, as I was growing up, that the thing I would spend money on would be music and books and skateboard shit, right? So
Yeah.
um, it's fascinating to me how Apple Music, I use Apple Music, but everyone uses what they use. You're like a kid in a kid in a record store, which to me is equally as exciting as a kid in a candy store. But I find myself just saving and downloading all these albums. And to your point, there's so many, there's too many. You don't spend the time with those albums that you would have as a kid who saved his last penny to go to the record store and buy a tape for $10.99. And
Have to fall in love with it. That's what I tell people. Like,
yeah,
tell me, as a curmudgeonly old man, as I'll say right now, but like I explaining to the young, like, you guys don't understand. Like, we would spend our hard-earned money and we wouldn't be able to buy something for another month, and you bought this thing and there's only one song you like on it, but guess what? At the end of the month, you're going to fall in love with it because you got nothing else. So you find a way to fall in love with something that normally nowadays you listen to, you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm never going to listen to that again. Meanwhile, you don't take the time and you can find the intricacies in something that you otherwise may not have given a second chance because
yeah,
you had to just keep going with it.
yes, yeah, exactly. Too
These
much.
dang kids nowadays have it too easy.
Kids.
Get it off my lawn.
Hilarious.
So you're doing that. So I love the story coming up, the playing the trumpet and getting into stuff. When did you kind of start looking for other people to play music with? Like, at what age was it that you're searching out and trying other instruments and wanting to form a band?
Yeah, so I think it sort of evolved from skateboarding. So some of the kids I grew up with skateboarding, obviously into this a lot of the same music. My one buddy started playing guitar when we were in high school. So I would say it was probably around 10th grade. This kid picked up a guitar and he figured it out. He could riff. He was pretty good at it comparatively at the time. And my other buddy, the kid who was a big music influence on me, his mom's boyfriend was a drummer in a band, and they lived together. And he had a pretty killer drum set. So my buddy Chris started playing drums on that. So we kind of had like a ragtag thing coming together. I obviously played trumpet, which wasn't cool to be in a band. So I said, I want to sing for a band. Let me be a screamer. We just now need a bass player. And our town, I grew up in a place called Lockport, New York. It's a small town about 20 miles northeast of Buffalo. And there was one kid who played bass in town. So we're like, you're our bass player. And so we started this hardcore band. We called it Contempt. And I would say I was in 10th grade. So that would have been about 1992-ish, 91, 92. And so that's when I first started playing with people. Still at that point in my life, I'm like, I'm not going to play bass. We got the bass player. Um, but so then from there was like a little local music scene that was brewing, and it was actually kind of a subsect of the Buffalo music scene, but somehow our little town became quite a hub for shows because there was a few venues that were open. There was a bowling alley, and then there was another venue that was open to having shows of all kinds. So a lot of the hardcore and local punk bands would pass through there in some capacity. So we got to play a few shows, which is cool. I would say it wasn't until my second year of college I started playing bass. It was a summer between my freshman and sophomore year. I ended up commuting to college, so I didn't go away. So I was still in Western New York, and I was bored one summer. I was working, some telemarketing job, and I'm like, hey, think I want to learn bass. I like had a, this sounds so stupid, but this is an absolute true story. I had a dream that I figured out the bass line to the Beastie Boys song Root Down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I thought, like, from that dream, I'm like, yeah, I want to try it. And like the first thing I did was learn that tune. And from there, I'm like, yeah, this bass thing is I think it's my jam. So yeah, I think ever since then I've been playing bass. Started in college playing bass in a band. We were awful. We played some talent show. Clearly didn't win, but we had a good time. And so just kind of mess around. From there, I ended up bouncing in and out of a few punk rock bands. Didn't really go anywhere, but they kind of got me started. And so yeah, I'd say anywhere between like 92 and 96 is really when it started jumping off playing with other people.
Well, I like how your first band, the band name was actually pretty good, especially for the style of music you were playing with Contempt. So that's usually they're not that good. So the names of first bands.
It was fun. It was fun. I still got the tape demos somewhere, but
So at that time in your life, and you start picking up the bass, who was the most influential band at that time in your life to continue to figure out how to play bass great?
100% at that time for me, Rancid. My sort of manifest destiny at that time was I want to learn the bass line to Journey to the End of the East Bay. And I sat for hours, man, just playing. It was the tape at the time, just rewinding it, listening, bzz, 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 rewinding, listening over and over and over and over and over again to learn that. And I learned it. And from there, that Matt Freeman style sort of stuck with me. And um, I envied the sort of walking bass lines, the arpeggios, the scales, because, right around the time I started playing bass, my parents and I were on vacation, and I was watching a reggae band, and I was just hawking this fucking bass player. He must have thought I was a nut. I'm just watching his fingers as this guy's playing like Bob Marley and, like reggae, and that style of music really, really resonated with me. So I think between the two, that that really set me off on sort of the style I would say I still have today. It's almost like a ska, reggae, punk, funk influence all in.
Nice. Yeah, there's something to that, the reggae stuff. Like I'm not the biggest reggae fan, but like anytime the Wailers come around, I go and I just watch.
Yeah.
Like I just watch. I'm like, and I've told people, I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter if you like the music or not. You want to see some musicianship that it's hard to find because no one else really does it the way they do it because they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's so effortless, and you're like, I don't even know how they just did that. And I'm staring and I have no idea how that happened. How that sound came out of what he just did, it does not make any sense to me.
And that's it. That's what music's for, man. That's the moment.
So Rancid's another one too that I think it's like, it's one of those bands, like earlier you said Op Ivy is like your favorite, but it's looking back at, a time in music that, as we were talking about discovery and everything. And I mean, Rancid kind of got known after a short period of time in existence because of MTV, right? Same thing with Green Day and everything. But the impact they had prior to that is still fascinating to me, that so many people will harken back to like, yeah, no, that was the band that made me fall in love with this. Like the younger generation now, all I hear from them is Blink 182.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that I get because they were funny guys on, MTV. I'm like, but the other stuff that we couldn't find, like I remember seeing Green Day opening for Bad Religion, right when Kerplunk came out, and like, like not knowing who they were and just being like, this is the coolest fucking band I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it's just like those moments of like, especially back then too, like the bills that you would go see concerts or shows like that were just built out to find new fucking bands that would just blow you away that you would never otherwise, because you're paying for Bad Religion, you have no idea what else is going
Yeah.
on before that. And then you're just like, who is it? It was like, I think it was like Seaweed, Green Day, and Bad Religion. And you're just like, fuck, this is, and then I fall in love with Seaweed, and then I have to find out where is this band from? And like, there's no way to figure any of that shit out back then.
Yeah.
And then they just become huge influences in your life. And Rancid's always one of those ones where I'm just like, it shouldn't work. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Mhm.
listening to Tim's vocals, some of Lars like I'm like, it shouldn't work, but it did. And it influenced so many people that like I'm so glad that it did work, because it really shouldn't have.
Mhm. Yeah. And you think about their first album, I mean, that was straight hardcore punk. That wasn't,
Yeah.
there was no ska influence, like besides maybe the walkie bass lines. You wouldn't have known they had anything to do with Operation Ivy, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't know that, how they transitioned and sort of re-embraced that ska background. I just, it's cool. It's cool.
So going from that point and growing up and playing music and stuff, like when you first got into Contempt and you played probably your first show ever in front of strangers, do you remember that feeling? And do you remember that first show that you ever performed in front of strangers?
Yeah, I do. It was quite funny. So we played this venue. It was a bowling alley on the ground floor, and then the top floor was basically a music venue. And they were very kind, and they always let it out. The kid who was playing bass in our band at the time, this guy named Joe, he was also on the side. He would set up shows. He ended up becoming somewhat of a local promoter. But he was very well connected with bands from Buffalo and surrounding areas. So um, he got us. We had a show. We were supposed to play with this band called Cinderblock from Buffalo, and they ended up evolving. Their singer ended up. He was in a band called Slugfest as well, and today he is a singer for the band Terror in
Mm-hmm.
California. And but he's a Buffalo boy. In any case, it was us and Slugfest. We're supposed to play together. So $5 at the door. We got a fair amount of people. It was our very first show. We only had three songs, and so everyone gets in there
All a
and
minute and 27 seconds long.
well, yeah, and I'll never forget. Joe, the bass player, is like, "Hey, Slugfest isn't coming." I'm like, "What?" He's like, no, they canceled." I'm like, "Were they ever coming?" And he didn't really say anything. So we had to tell the people that, okay, it's just us. We played the same three songs. I think we played them over and over, 2 to 3 songs, two to three times each. So that was the first show, and it was funny. It was actually a decent crowd, but yeah, we didn't have enough material, so we just played the same things over and over again. Nobody knew because they all sounded the same.
Yeah.
And, it was awesome. I'm like, this is show business, man.
That's an awesome way to break into playing. I love that. It's a great story.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if we gained too many fans from that, but that's how it went down.
Whatever, fuck them. They don't know what they're missing. Now, from playing your first show, do you remember the first concert you ever went to, and then the first concert you ever got to pick to go to, if they were different?
Yeah. um the first real full on concert I ever went to was Queensryche, but the only reason I went is because Suicidal Tendencies was opening for them, which
Uh-huh.
seems odd.
I saw that tour too.
Okay, so you remember that?
Yep.
I'm like, I gotta see Suicidal at that time was like, the teen angst. It was
Yeah.
what was driving me. So
That was an
yeah,
Operation Mindcrime tour.
oh yes, it was awesome. Yeah, it was. And they played at the Odd in Buffalo. I went and oh my god, it was like I think I almost cried when I saw Suicidal Tendencies. That was the first like concert. But I think like one of the first like shows, the things I chose to go to was in Buffalo at a place called the Scrapyard. It was Sick of It All. and Slugfest and Cinderblock, two Buffalo bands. And that was like my first like full on show that like I had to ask my mom if I could go with the kid who was old enough to who had the driver's license and a car. And yeah, so that was pretty fucking awesome.
Wow, do you have a favorite show that you'd ever been to?
Yeah. No Effects played a show in Buffalo. Let's see, I was in college. It must have been like 96 or 97. They played with a few other Fat Record bands. High Standard
Yeah.
opened up for them, the Japanese punk band. So
Yep.
fucking good. Anyway, No Effects played their full set. Show ended. Show was over. People cleared out. The old enough people who could drink stayed at the bar. Everyone else left. So my buddies were having a few beers. So I like went out to my car because they gave us a Fat Records comp. I wanted to put it in the car so it didn't get broke. And I tried to get back in and like, no, you left. You can't get back in. And I'm like, oh, my buddy's at the bar. Come on, let me back in. I'm drinking. Fine. So I got back into the bar. There's probably about 15 to 20 people left in the whole place. Fucking No Effects came back out and they played a whole other set just for this small group. I gotta tell you, man, that was the best. Like, I'll never forget that. That was amazing. They were like probably my top 3 favorite bands at the time, still are. And fuck, man, that was awesome.
That sounds fucking amazing. Like that's a fucking story and a half to, yeah, we're done. And everybody's drinking, place clears out. And then the band comes back out and plays a whole nother fucking set. That's unbelievable. That's good for you, man.
And so cool of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Fucking Fat Mike probably did a couple lines and was like, let's go back out.
Hey, whatever he did, yeah. I'm glad.
How about in your career, a performance that stands out to you that you played that kind of occupies the space in your mind that kind of will never go away for good or bad, but a live performance you had that you'll just never forget?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been some great ones. There's different victories for different reasons. Different things resonate for different reasons. But I have to say, I think it was like a Friday or a Saturday, we got invited, a promoter invited us to play the Gramercy Theater in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
It was a last minute deal. I don't know how, Matty has done a real good job at like putting the feelers out and getting in touch and knowing people who know people. And I'm not even certain exactly how we got on the thing, but we were playing with Hidden in Plain View. It was their show. And yeah, we got to open. They asked us the day before to play a gig on a Sunday night. And so, of course, we were like, holy shit. Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely the biggest, coolest place I think we've ever played. And it had a pretty decent turnout. We opened, we're very first. So it wasn't super, super busy while we were on. But I mean, that to me, like first time being on like a real stage, having people like union people like lifting your equipment up on stage, like, no, you don't touch it. And you're like real sound guys and lighting. And I was like, whoa, we got a quote unquote green room that we had to share with the other opening band, but we were so impressed.
The back curtain at the Gramercy. Yeah.
Totally. Like they had like a little fridge in there with a couple free beers and we got chips and salsa. We were like over the moon. This is awesome. We got salsa, dude. That was cool. That was awesome.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm almost upset that I missed that show now because I didn't know you guys were on it at that time. Yeah, the Hidden in Plain View guys are great. Joe's great. Joe Rio's awesome dude. So
they were awesome. It was great. It was a good time.
That's great, man. Yeah, the chips and salsa behind the curtain at fucking Gramercy downstairs. It's
yeah, it was sweet.
So going to that, like, I'll give you a Gone Stereo question now. Like, if no one has ever heard of you guys, no one ever heard of Gone Stereo, and you can only play someone one song of yours that would best describe who the band is, what song of yours are you playing for them?
I would say that's a real good question. I think Meet Me at Garvey's.
These long days and these long nights are where we write these lines 1,000 times. It's all the same. Look at the places where I've been. All I wanted to do was hold your hand, but now I'm blinded. Yeah. It's Monday morning, I'm awake just to find everything has changed. I haven't left my bed at 7:30. I've had my share of sleepless nights, and I told my share of 1,000 lies. But tonight it made me realize, just as soon as it comes, it was already gone. 'Cause nothing ever lasts here anyway. As soon as it comes, it was already gone. Let's take a break and find a hideaway. Cause we were so close, had just as soon as it comes, it was already gone. 'Cause nothing ever lasts here anyway. As soon as it comes, it was already gone. Let's take a break and find a hideaway. Just as soon as it comes, it was already gone. 'Cause nothing ever lasts here anyway. Just as soon as it comes, it was already gone.
And I say that because that was one song that had, I'd say, equal amounts of influence across the band. We've had a lot of different, I wouldn't say a lot of different lineups, but our current lineup was all involved with the creation and the recording. And everybody chipped in something to creating that song. So I think that one, I would say, from a sound perspective, if I were to say like what sound probably encapsulates Gone Stare the most, I might say I'm So Sick. But I wouldn't say that encapsulates who we are today because our current drummer was not yet in our band. And his creative contributions are huge for where we sit today.
Now, what's your favorite song you guys have created to date?
My favorite song, I really like the song Twin Pines. I just feel like that's got that one. It's fast, it moves, it's got energy. When we perform it live, we do a kind of a cool intro to it that I think makes it even cooler. That's never been recorded. You'd only hear it if you see us live. But yeah, I like Twin Pines. That song gets me every time.
Nice. All right. In your life, the band that you turn to constantly for comfort or whenever you need something, I call it the band that never lets you down. That's when you're searching for something to listen to and you don't know what to listen to. You just find yourself always turning on that band.
Yeah. Descendants.
Wow. Nice. Is that why Milo goes to a fight club or?
That was the Something Bitter guys tune. So, and the fact that they had the name Milo in a song, I mean, that even just that made it even cooler that we did this EP together. I think they're great. They're great, great guys.
Do you remember what you were listening to the day you got your driver's license when you went to go pick up your first friend?
Yeah. Let's see. I would have been driving my dad's Delta 88. He had a tape deck. I maybe was listening to. I might have been listening to the Slugfest 7-inch that I dubbed onto an audio cassette. I definitely, yeah, there's a song called Sinking by Slugfest. It's the first song on that thing, and it comes out swinging so hard. I'm fairly certain that would have been it.
Wow. Yeah, I recently found a bunch of my old cassettes that I had taken all my 7-inches, all my punk rock 7-inches, and put them on cassettes, and realized I put it in the store the other day. I was like, this is so horrible. I can't believe I would like blast this in my car, and it sounded, to me, it was amazing. And it's like the worst sounding shit in the world. Like, it's so fucking monotone. It's like listening to a mono record with no speaker. Like that's kind of what what it sounds like. I'm like, this is terrible. And I would sit there and put my 7-inches onto a cassette tape. Like,
oh my God.
So
yes.
horrible.
I know exactly what you mean, man. It was the only way to listen, to take it out of the house.
Yeah. Because I mean, in that time, trying to explain, like the only way the bands you would go see, they would have 7-inches. Like that's how you listened to their music. Like they couldn't afford to make a CD at that time. And it was so cheap to make a record or a 7-inch. Like that's why you go back and like I go through my record collection and like, yeah, most of them are from like the late 80s, early 90s of bands no one's ever heard of because it was so cheap for them to make it at that time because everything had moved on to cassette or CD that, vinyl was dead. And it was like, yeah, us punk kids I still have so many 7-inches of bands that I'm just like, what is this band? And then I'll put it on and be like, wow, this fucking rips. And like, I can't find any, like, it's not even like, you can't even find it on Discogs. Like, and I can't find any, like I found one the other day, a band called 49 Reasons. And I remember seeing them at like the Butler Firehouse and I fucking loved them. And I had both of their 7-inches. You can't find anything about them. Like they never existed. Apparently no one else owns these 7-inches and no one's ever talked about it. It's like, it's so funny to me to go back to have stuff like this and just be like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it is a shame. It's like, now we're so spoiled with Apple digital music, whatever. We can look it up and it's not until then that you feel like, oh my God, you're like desperate. You're never going to find it. Oh, it doesn't exist. But back in the day, we'd go to record stores and we'd find the stuff the old fashioned way, like actually find it.
It was the hunt, man. That's what I always say, like searching for unicorns, like,
yeah.
And just for the label that somebody wrote on it. That's why, like, I still do that in my store. Like, I'll write a label on a record that I'm sure people don't know. And I'll be like, jangly guitar power pop with, crisp vocals and, to give people that little, oh, well, I'm going to buy this for $7 then.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
You remember the last song you cried to?
Cried to. I'm very tough. I don't cry, Shane.
No, I understand. Check
No.
your ego at the
Let's see. I was crying earlier today. No.
Or how about one that made you emotional?
Yeah, no. Hold, please. There's yeah, I can remember. It is it's a Social Distortion song. Hold please, because the name of it's not Angel's Wings. It's on that album. It's I'm blanking here.
What is that White Lightning in that album? Or no?
Hold please, I can tell you exactly. It is Reach for the Sky, Social Distortion.
All right. Nice.
And it made me think of somebody who passed away, who was close to me. And at that point in time, the lyrics of that song just really I find them very impactful, and yeah, it was like a driving, teary-eyed situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are tough when it fucking creeps up on you. Like when
Yeah.
yeah. When you're not when you're least expecting it, and you're just like, oh, what's happening? What's going
Yeah.
on right now?
Yeah. That. So,
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. We
of
appreciate you
course.
sharing your feelings. I appreciate that. Now,
Exactly.
with all the bands that we've sort of mentioned through, we've kind of found a theme to the music that you like to listen to. But I know there's got to be something that you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to, that people would be really surprised that you love listening to this artist or band.
Yes. I would say so. I'm a kind of a closet opera fan to a degree. Um, Give me a second here. So one song, and this is also another song that I will say brings a tear to my eye. If now we're admitting we cry all the time, we might as well put it out there right there. Andrea Bocelli,
Okay. Yeah.
Conti Partido.
I,
Oh,
I get it. I
that,
understand.
but I love that. I love that song. There's a few in that genre that I just, sometimes if I just want to wind down, relax, there you go.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you. And again, thank you for sharing.
Of course.
All right, you got 5 minutes left to live. A meteor's going to crash into the earth, and you can only listen to one song. What song are you listening to?
I'm listening to Radio by Rancid.
That was fast. I like that. Took you longer to think of the one you cried to than what you would listen to when you were probably going to be crying.
Or dying, either way.
Or dying. Now, if music wasn't something that kind of came back into your life, did you kind of realize now, like, what was missing now that it's back? Or do you think that at that period that it was gone, you never knew how much it meant to you at that time that it was out of your life?
Yeah. At the period it was gone, that I wasn't really playing with other people or creating it, I was still noodling around. And I always listened to me. I always found I started running because I wanted to get out of the house and listen to music. So music's always been there to a degree, but so I would say a little of both, though, because I guess I didn't realize how how much of a gap not making it and playing it for other people had created. So I think in retrospect, had I not found it again and gotten back into performing, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that necessarily anything bad would have happened, but I probably would have just been some miserable adult.
Aren't you still, though? At some
Yeah.
point? Yeah. Let's be honest. I love that you found a reason to like listen to music. So like you wanted to run so you could listen to music. That's a nice way to like. I found myself like there's like I have my rule of 5 like when it comes to music. People have heard me talk about like to find out if I'll enjoy something or I don't enjoy it. I listen to it something 5 times, 5 different ways, and one of them was like always mowing the lawn, and it made me just enjoy mowing the lawn.
Yes.
Like people would just be like, I'm like, I got to mow the lawn. You're having a pool party. I'll be over in like 3 hours. I got to mow the lawn. They're like, well, why don't you just do it tomorrow? I'm like, they don't understand. Like I got like a couple albums I got to get through. Like
This is my time. Come on.
yeah. And I just put like the earbuds in and fucking mow the lawn. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, look at the lawn. I'm like, well, that looks good. That's cool. I just got some new music. I'm like, this is great. And that's finding reasons to listen to music. It's great. And it's also sometimes depressing that you have to like find and make time to listen to it. And you just
Yeah.
can't have it.
It's, and my wife will be the first to tell you, I always drive. And if we're going anywhere, even if it's hours and hours away, I'm like, no, I'll drive. Because my rule of thumb in the car is the person who drives owns the music selection.
Well, absolutely. That's why I'm the only driver.
Yes, so yes, I drive a lot of places because I get to listen to music.
Yeah. Well, at my old job, and I used to have to fly a lot, but I would always like, they'd be like, hey, if it's over 4 hours, we'd like you to fly. I'd be like, well, by the time you factor in the airport and getting to the airport, checking in, and I was like, how about 6.5 hours? Because then I just got to listen to music for 6.5 hours, and I would drive, and I just felt more comfortable doing it that way too. And it was, selfish, so I could listen to music the entire time.
Yeah. Well, but you were gracing anyone else in the vehicle with your great music selections.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes. That's why I have 2 rules in my store. I built like this little lounge area by the stage that when there's not a show going on, you can just hang out and chill out in the store. And I tell everyone that wants to chill out, and I go, listen, we only have 2 rules in here. You can't tell me to lower it, and you can't tell me to change it. That's it. That's the only 2 rules in here. You can stay all fucking day and not buy a thing. I don't care. But if you break one of those 2 rules, don't ever fucking come back.
You're out. I like it.
All right. And now I'm going to preface this. Again, I've been doing this recently to say this. This question has been here for a long time. So not to disregard anything that is going on in LA right now with the fires, but this question has been here, and I feel terrible for what's going on there, but I have to ask this question because I think sometimes it's important to think. But Mike, if there was a fire, your house caught on fire, all your loved ones, all your pets, everyone got out safely and everyone's fine, but you could run back in and grab one piece of music memorabilia or music instrumentation or something musical, what's the one thing you're grabbing?
I gotta grab I'm grabbing my Fender Jazz bass, and I've got a fairly new one that I play out with a lot that I love. But if I could only grab one, I would have to grab the one I call Old Faithful that I bought many moons ago and has traveled with me. Not quite as fancy or expensive, but it's the one that fits me. So yeah, it's that bass, Fender Jazz, and
Nice.
American.
Do you have any other, like, let's say, album in your life that you own that is like your prized possession music? Like, do you still own physical media?
I still have every single one of my CDs in a booklet in a box someplace. The only physical media though that I've gotten, I would say in the past 5-10 years, maybe not 10, probably 5, is like Argon stereo stuff. So I really, we've got a couple of 7 inches that we put out recently on Negative Progression Records, and Mark DeSalvo did the artwork for the cover, which is something we're all very proud of. But I love those 7 inches just to hold and have them and see that and see the cool artwork and like look and like see a photo of the band and just everything about. I really miss that physical media of music.
Nice. Well, we're going to be coming into our final segment of the show, which is our weekly 3 segment, which is 3 things that you're listening to that you'd like people to check out. You're going to give your 3, then I'll give my 3 for this week. But before we do that, I want to say, wholeheartedly, thank you so much for creating the music that brought us together. I think that music doesn't get enough love for what it can actually do, where it just turns strangers into friends like immediately. And it's so important. And I think it lends itself to 2 strangers being able to have a conversation that never met and laugh and have a good time. And like after an hour's up, just be like, wow, I fucking enjoyed that. And like a conversation with someone maybe I would never meet in my life and never understand that. And like, like I said, it's strangers to friends. And it's like, I feel like I got a new friend out there. And it's all because of the music you created. So it's important. And I want to say thank you so much for that.
That's awesome. And thank you for being a supporter, and thank you for doing this. Thank all the stuff you do for music, man. I mean, a venue, a record store, it's people like you who keep this thing real and keep it going. So thank you for that.
It's easy to do something you love, right? You do something you love, you never work a day in your life. That's what they say. And it's unfortunate that it took me to become an old man and say, you know what? Fuck the life that I've been working so hard at, because at the end of the day, sometimes I feel my parents lied to me that there was this booklet that you had to follow where, you know, last year I said, fuck this. I know what I love. And as long as my passion comes out doing it, it'll be fine. And that's what I did. I opened my record store and music venue and said, fuck it, here we go. And that's it.
Attaboy. That's awesome, dude.
So we are in our weekly threes. So you're going to give me 3 things that you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out. You give your 3, then I give mine.
All right. I've actually been it's a combination, like going back to my roots. I was on the train yesterday. I was listening to Game Face.
Oh, Jeff. I love Jeff.
Oh man, their first album, I forgot how much I listened on repeat as a kid. 3 to Get Ready. I mean, how good is that?
This is one of my biggest joys was having Jeff on this show last year.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome, man. Awesome, man. There's a local band here called Neck Scars. They just came out with a new tune. It's really, really fucking good. Highly recommend checking that out. And I've had the band Choking Victim on repeat quite a bit these days for whatever. They're just resonating with me right now.
Nice. Good 3. All right. My 3 for this week. First one is a band called Do It Later. They have an EP out called Future Me. It's a couple members from French indie bands called Vermonte and Totoro. They came together and put this thing together called Do It Later. Really cool French indie rock. Number 2 is a band called Flight Mode. They're kind of, if you like Death Cab for Cutie, you like them. They're a Norwegian emo-ish band, and the name of the album is The 3 Times. And last but not least is a band called Dead History from Minnesota, post-hardcore music. I love hearing music that kids are creating today, and when I say kids, early 20s, but kids are creating today that brings me back to a time where I just remember that discovery of sound and music, and it makes it go back to, as I call it, nostalgic. It makes it feel new again. So
Awesome.
Band called Dead History, and it's a self-titled album. So check those out.
I'm checking all of those out. In fact, I'm on Flight Mode right now. I'm about to download The 3 Times.
Nice. See, and again, what these weekly threes are, the way I always look at it. You may not like it, you may not love it, you may actually hate it, but the best part about it is you find something new.
Yep.
So that's what it's all about.
That's awesome. Couldn't have said it better.
Well, Mike, thank you again so much for being here. This has been an awesome time, spending some time with you. I hope to meet you in person one day in the future. We are not that far apart, even though, you are Long Island and I'm North New Jersey. And it really is. We're not that far apart, but it's light years away, kind of.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, hey, we're due to play a gig in Jersey soon. I'll have to get you that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely let me know. But again, thank you so much. And everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to God in Stereo, and have a great fucking time.
Bring me down off the ledge, 'cause I fear I fall. Toss me down a rope and take my hand, 'cause I'm feeling right. Kinda feels like now's our time. I'm daydreaming, I'm holding on tight. I thought I knew you, then you crossed the line when you walked into and then right out of my life. 'Cause I'm helpless, hopeless. I got caught up in the moment. Helpless, hopeless. I got caught up in the moment. You just bring me down. Don't bring me down. Just cut the rope. Faster, faster, my heart beats. Your mystique, nothing like I've ever seen.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.